Welcome. Beautiful evening and grand risings to our amazing brothers and sisters in Thailand. I am so excited to be here with you. I am joined by my amazing sister, Queen Toni, the one and only Rawlicious Queen, who is here today to share her incredible story, her beautiful survival story, how she has been healing herself naturally from depression, anxiety, feelings of low self-worth. Oh my goodness, so many issues. Like, she felt like she didn't belong in this world, always felt a little different, right? Some of us can relate to that. Some of us star seeds, light workers, feeling like, it was just so different from the rest of the world. But she has embraced that, being so unique and so different. And she has been shining her light and turned that pain into her power. She's also, like many of us can relate, gone through cycles of, everything from starving herself to binge eating to over exercising to, not loving her body. I tell her she makes this look so easy, but there has been a lot of work behind her, looking so amazing. She puts a lot of work, and it's been a journey of self-love, of accepting herself, of having compassion for herself, and making that decision to rise above, all of her fears. And she's going to share with us today some of her tricks, what she's been doing, taking us on a little voyage through her life so that we could see where she came from and how deep her pain was, and to where she is today, helping, serving, making amazing videos. We're going to talk about that because I am in admiration of her and her playfulness on TikTok. If you haven't followed her yet, check her out, Rawlicious You on TikTok, also on Instagram. She has a YouTube channel, and she is just soaring so high and making a big change in the lives of so many people. So without further ado, thank you so much, Queen Toni, for being with us tonight. It's such an honor. You're my very good sister and one of my best friends. I've been, enjoying journeying with you and growing together, and just so honored that you're here with us tonight, to this rising tonight. We're a little bit apart in time.
Yeah.
You're joining us from Thailand.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Wow, that was a really nice, amazing, spectacular introduction I've ever had.
It's the truth.
We have to do this more. It's so good. You've just shared it all. Thank you. It was saying my internet connection's a little unstable, so hopefully we were doing well before the live, but hopefully it stays how it was. So just let me know if it breaks up, Eileen.
It seems okay on my end.
Okay, because I'll run away with my thoughts and sharing, and then have a cut out.
It's all good. I'm in Billy's too, so mine might come in and out. So we'll just have to, do with what we got.
Great. Yeah, so that, I mean, for me, yeah, if it makes it look easy, it certainly hasn't. My journey's not been easy. Like most, we've all got stories. We've all been through a lot of, deep, I always call it deep shit. A lot of stuff. And for a long time feeling like, I didn't belong. And it's so nice to see so many. It wasn't, being vulnerable and being open about this was never talked about in my family, in my circle of friends, especially where I'm from. Yorkshire, England, northeast of England. It's a little small city, Hull. I was very strange to most people. When I used to talk a lot about the pain in the head, or just the deep questioning, I was always very curious, even at school. And I had lots of friends, always this looked at as an extrovert, but really I wasn't. I was struggling to find real deep connection, or to understand these thoughts and feelings. And now when I look back, I was very in tune, but didn't feel like it was a normal thing. I couldn't express it or articulate it. It's been a journey of trying or exploring that articulation of expression, and I've never been able to, and it's through suppression, not just suppression, but also not, well, I believe, yeah, that is the biggest part of not being able to find those people that encourage that, or knowing that it's normal to feel, you know, this way, these feelings, these pain and hurt. So I'll take you on a journey. I'll take you to just give you some critical moments of leading up to where I am now. And I'm still learning, I'm still evolving, and never stop reflecting and correcting my path. And you know, I realized that I am a good person, and for years I didn't feel I was a good person or good enough, you know, all this should be this, should be that. But I'll explain where that led to. But my family life was quite turbulent, to be honest, unbalanced. When I look back, it was quite cold. We didn't get a lot of loving from their own. That I look back at their past, they didn't have that loving, support, safe family environment. So I can see now why you know, they did the best, and I know they really did do their best, but I don't have a very balanced relationship. Well, I don't even speak to my mother for the last 8 years. So and that, yeah, that was a very difficult time in letting go, when you realize even though the blood, sometimes you have to let go. But I felt like I wasn't loved, really, and I didn't feel like I felt very abandoned, but didn't know it back then. I didn't, like I said, I couldn't talk about it to anyone. But then I left home at 16. I joined the Royal Air Force because I just wanted to leave. I just knew there was a bigger world out there. I was like, I believe that's when my spiritual journey began, when I left school, because I felt this freedom, this like, wow, where can I go? What can I do? And I joined the Royal Air Force because I knew I could fly and just be free. I joined the Air Force and I was like, oh, I felt really trapped there. But that started on my fitness journey, my health journey. And then I got into the health and fitness. But I realized after 2 years being in the Royal Air Force that this is not my path. I want to join the fitness industry. And that's when I left, and I studied sports science. I was supply teaching for a long time, PE teacher for many years, worked in the gyms. But I got down a really unhealthy path of bad habits of the industry of meat, you know, heavy meat meals, eating regularly 6-7 meals, training excessively 3 to 4 hours a day. And I was starting to do a little bit of modeling. So you can see a pattern here. Like then I really latched on to that industry and then what we're told, this mainstream media about the protein. And I was exhausted. I was tired all the time. I was taking stimulants on every supplement. I was really bent. And when I look back, I was always bent out. And what I was doing, I had the passion of travel. So I would go traveling, but I was so exhausted. I would sleep a lot. I would literally I was a beach bum. So I'd go traveling, then come back and get back into the fitness industry, do some modeling, really restricting. Like getting to like 6.5 stone, 7 stone at like 18, 20 years old, and eating very little, exercising excessively. And it was a really unhealthy, and you can see through what I was doing and eating was now my low self-worth and being very on my own. Felt very alone for a long time. Traveling, I think traveling opened up a lot more of different lifestyles, different people, different mindsets. And that really was a catalyst for my spiritual awakening, because I met a lot of spiritual people along my traveling. So from like 18 to 19, say 19 was really when I realized about personal development, spirituality, and really 20. So from like all of my 20s was exploring and people would call it escaping from where I was from, but actually I was looking for something more and trying to find my tribe. I was out there exploring the world, traveling, backpacking by myself, going back to teach, and then being back in those healthy habits. And it was yo-yoing all the time. And then I really was obsessed with personal development, going to seminars, reading loads of personal development books, trying to find the answers. Because I thought something was wrong with me. I was like, where's my people? Like, so the books really helped along this journey and knowledge, just being curious. And then I would say veganism, 2010. When I went and volunteered, so I was a big animal lover as well.
Yeah.
And I went to Soy Dog Foundation, one of the biggest animal welfare organizations in Thailand, in Asia. And I volunteered there. And it was not until I met a fruitarian, so in 2010, and I was studying. So I'd gone from from sports, and then I had a passion for, and always had a love for animals, helping animals. I used to bury them when I'd see dead animals. I'd go back when we'd pass them in the car and bury them. I'd always have this connection with animals, and I couldn't watch any animals suffer on TV or anything. And I then studied animal science. So I'd gone from sports science to animal science, and they're my two big passions: health, wellness, and animals. So I studied at university animal science.
Wow.
And I really wanted to change legislation. And I was not even vegetarian. I was vegetarian at the time, and that was late on in my mid-20s. And then I went in 2010 to Soy Dog, and I met this fruitarian, and we was all eating animals on the table. He was eating his bananas, like he had like 20 bananas and this big bunch of bananas. And we was all sat there, and we were talking about the dog meat trade in Thailand, and mainly there was shifting a lot of the dogs over from Thai people to Vietnam. So there was always having patrol on the borders. And we were talking about how horrific and disturbing the dog meat trade is. And I was like, that's horrendous. It was my first experience of seeing dogs, like these dogs being eaten and tortured. And I was like, whoa, this is. And then he turned around on the table in front of 20 of us saying, well, you're eating meat, you're eating these chickens, these cows. What's the difference? That for me was, I get goose pimples now. That was the first turning of why discriminate one animal, why are we eating one and not. So that connection, because I couldn't believe people was eating dogs. But then I was like, but then we're eating these other animals. And I'm a huge animal lover. I was like, that just makes sense. So that was my path of veganism, but really it cemented when I started doing talks at university about veganism. So I started to become a really passionate, a little bit angry vegan when you start in 2000.
It's always like that at the beginning, isn't it? I think it's good to have that anger at the beginning. We have to be angry, and then we turn it into a little bit more softness. Some of us, not all of us, some stay angry forever.
Yeah.
But I really love
just more understanding, and also because we know the pain, it hurts us. We realize, and on this journey, we start to, actually alchemize it in a much more, more nurturing and loving and understanding, and just be more of the light. So I started to do I started a YouTube channel up as well. It was called originally The Wholesome You, and then Vegan Girl. And it was a very strong, direct, I found my voice in veganism and found my passion. But it was hard because I was, experiencing a lot of resistance with veganism. And I was doing a lot of talks back in the UK, and then I was active, doing a lot of activism. And then I was always volunteering back and forth. So I'd come back and teach and talk about health and being, personal training, teaching classes, but also the animal side. And then I moved to Thailand because I realized it was so fast paced, the lifestyle in the UK, and because of the activism, it was very intense. But I also had a drive to help the dogs here in Phuket, Thailand. When I first experienced in 2010, when I'd gone to Soy Dog, I experienced so many. It really hurt me, the dog meat trade, but also the amount of abandoned, neglected dogs really stuck with me. And I felt a calling to come here, and I enjoyed traveling and the warm weather. For me, the sun is, I'm an outdoor girl. I like being outside. And in England, I felt very trapped, cold, always staying in. It was, I don't do well in the cold climate. So it just made sense to come over to Thailand, but I didn't know how to make it work. and I had online jobs, little bits of money coming in, but I just took the risk with my ex at the time, my boyfriend at the time. We just came over in 2016 and moved here with my 2 dogs, Molly and Henry, who have now passed away, and started the journey of helping the dogs. And I set up my dog rescue, which we don't have a shelter, but we have dogs in fosters, and with me I used to have a lot of dogs, now not so much, and we've really reduced that because of, and I'll explain the Rawlicious side, but we've rehomed nearly 500 dogs in 5 years now, overseas and locally in Thailand. So, I forget the numbers. I'm part of over 2,000 dogs, but my own dogs. There's a team of us, but really I've had in and out people helping me, but really I've been the driver of it. It's been intense, but really rewarding, but not easy. And I experienced initially in the early days of this rescue, a lot of bullying, a lot of really nastiness, and just it really took its toll. Because my health started to deteriorate. I started to it was so, because of seeing so much cruelty and suffering, I got really sick, and then with the bullying on top and people speaking really negative, and because I was really doing and struggling financially, I'd never had, I would say that was always my my biggest pain over the years, was how to do things. And I've always lived with very little. I like the minimal lifestyle. And I knew my passions are more important than money. So I've always been driven by that, but I've always struggled with money, and I had this scarcity mindset. We never had much. I'd come from a council estate. I've lived in really, impoverished areas, and I always knew I was destined to do big things, but I always felt restricted. So that's why I felt I had to leave. I had to leave to expand. And then coming over here, I felt like in my eyes when I got here, I was like, I've come out with my partner at the time and my 2 dogs, and I'm helping animals. It's not easy financially, but I'm doing my passion. I love it. But my health went down, and it really took its toll with what people were saying about me. And obviously even putting myself out there doing talks and veganism, there was a lot of resistance. So I was seeing a lot of negativity. So not just with the animals and the cruelty, you're getting it from people. So I struggled. Let me know if I'm rambling too much and you've got any questions.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. I think,
but sorry.
No, I think it's so amazing that you were able to rise above that, because I was just going to say that's when you're doing something right. When you get persecuted in these ways sometimes in this society that values are, questionable, and you're trying to do something good, and like people are going to criticize you. That's just wild to me.
And to me, it really did affect me, because when you're a good person, and I'm a people pleaser, and I've realized that boundary, and that's something I've realized early on or not early on, actually, only last few years, and even still these moments, we want to be liked, we want to be loved, because you're coming from the heart, and you're helping in the best way you can. And sharing the truth about animals, I was going down that path, was really taking a toll on my mental health. And then I was teaching online at the time, teaching English on the evenings, and then at the dog rescue, I was volunteering at the Phuket government dog pound. I was having dogs adopted. It was real intense. I loved it, but it was sad. And then along with with the bullying and just the nastiness and the defamation it really impacted my health. And then I had to take a bit of time, not necessarily off, but just I really slowed down because we were getting dogs out every month, 20 dogs and 5 dogs minimum adopted. It was a really good, it was a very, from my experience and what I've observed over working with a lot of dog rescues and studying at university, is about really good systems. And it's all right helping all these dogs, but if you haven't got if you have, that's why I never really wanted a shelter, because you're helping all these dogs, and then it becomes too big, and the dogs fight. There's a lot of concerns when you start to not shower. So the key what I've realized with dog rescue is sterilizations and dog adoptions. So if the dogs can thrive on the streets, some of them do, the beach dogs, we have teams looking after the beach dogs, feeding them, treating them, we have systems there. But the real critical ones, especially from the government dog pound, we want to get most of them out and rehabilitated. So yeah, so focused on that, and then realized my health and my relationship with my ex started breaking down. We parted in 2020, but that was the hardest. I was going through another part of my evolution. We were both due to move to Costa Rica to start the next journey, and also keep the running of the rescue here, and then do work over there. But I started to just I was really depressed. So in and out of always like the depression, anxiety, the fear, always scared, but through personal development, just doing it anyway, but always having that hangover vulnerability, like, all the time. And always, even now I move through it, but it's much more, I feel safer, and I feel more, it's through meditation practices as well. I want to share the tools that I used. But anyways, we split with my ex, and I went through a really dark place. And then with the dogs, I felt very alone, and I was like, oh no, what am I, like, this is scary. And then I did the detox, I've always wanted to do a 40-day juice cleanse. And then the first experience was psychedelics. Never touched drugs or anything like that. I always felt resistance towards it, especially being embedded at the Royal Air Force, ever. And then I started learning and experiencing about psychedelics, and this was now the transformation really went deep.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that was powerful. That was really opened up, like how now I just feel completely safe in the world. I've always felt like I say on my own, and you notice patterns from childhood, but a lot of connections came with the detox, and then with psychedelics, and then working with clients throughout the years and seeing their patterns and seeing the transformations through implementing what I've learned. And now I've collated a lot together to give a program to offer those to cut that curveball of 15 years of, I felt like at the time, was torture. I was like, why this pain, and crying. And another major break, I would say, like a breakdown. And I always find these breakdowns, I realized this next breakdown I had in 2020 was the next part of the evolution. And it was definitely looking like, even at the time, I just knew this was meant to be. And people were surprised at the 6-year relationship that I was actually married. We didn't announce that publicly, but we were married for 3 years together, 6 years. And the breakdown of that, I'm going through the breakup, and then being on my own in a foreign country in Thailand, and having the dog rescue, and not having really not much money coming in, only money to live off for myself, but with the dogs, all this big responsibility. I was so scared. And then I just let go through the tools that I use now with the meditation and the raw foods, and I intermittent fast. And then with the psychedelics, which now I'm learning to become a facilitator, and I'm developing a healing center with the psychedelics, and that's the next vision for this. So it's all coming together and all makes sense. And now I'm kind of like, I know that this is my path, and it feels so good. It feels really the time of my life. I say the 20s was always a mess. I always look at the mess, but part of the growth. The 30s, and now 37, I'm like, this is the path. The raw foods, it opens up, it nourishes the mind, it nourishes the soul. Raw foods have really transformed this next part of the journey, because I was an unhealthy vegan, eating a lot of high fat gourmet, and I wouldn't say I'm perfect raw. I have because I do realize these heavier gourmet raw foods as another form of suppression. That's what I'm, with the connection, when you realize, okay, I'm still using food to numb and suppress. So from the raw foods, I've realized, wow, how much I suppressed before my healing. and it would have been so much faster. But that's part of it. It's part of that journey. And now from that detox, the cleansing, releasing all those memories of pain and suffering has just allowed me to dig deeper and uncover what the pain was and connect the dots. Raw foods is like a long lasting psychedelic, isn't it? I always like, if you want answers,
yeah, it's totally plant medicine. It's totally plant medicine. It's touching us on deep cellular levels. And you know, I find it really interesting because I feel like, you know, everything that's happened in your life was to bring you to this point. It was to bring you to your healing, you know. So everybody who's watching, you know, to look at what's going on in your life that you're not satisfied with, and seeing where it's leading you, you know, to which healing modality, you know. And it's no coincidence if you're hearing about living foods, if you're hearing about psychedelics, you know, right in this moment, it's like it chooses those who are ready to at least hear about it or get a seed that's planted, because they really are solutions that are offered to us when we are on our knees, when you know, like you were so desperate for healing, you had been through some serious trauma from your family, to the bullying, to your separation, you know, these things are there to like break you open, you know, it seems. And in that darkness lies your breakthrough, lies your light, you know. That's where you're gonna kind of be growing from. Yeah. So how long
and you always, you know, you look back, you're like, why?
Yes, sometimes things don't make sense, but then when exactly, you look back and you kind of could see why they happened. And from that place, you know, now you're helping people with, I should have mentioned this in the intro, I'm so sorry, I was a little bit nervous, but you know, the fact that you're a fitness coach now and a health coach, and having gone through the restriction and the, you know, the self-abuse and the self-loathing, but now you're helping others to do it in a healthy way because you have gone through it, you have learned it. So from that is just incredible how now you're able to do that and guide people with so much compassion and love. I think it's important. There's a lot of coaches out there that are like very, you know, you got to do it this way and you got to be super strict about it, but you have a very, very loving and gentle approach because you've been through what you've been through. You've been through the trauma, you've been through the bullying. So now, you know, you would never do that to somebody else.
No. I would never I'd never speak of people like that. That's why I found it really hard to, but I realized, you know, hurt people do hurt people. And I was curious to know what their pain is, but you know, you always want to try and help everyone and or try and just understand more, but you've got to, like, it's the boundaries, you've got to let go. You know, I always was forgiving. And I'd rather be forgiving, but I also know when to cut. You know, it's like with my mother, I had to cut that cord because she was the same. She was a bully as well. And I wonder why I had low self-esteem. I'm like, oh my gosh, I won't go right into it. I think that's a journey in itself, and it's something I'm still processing. And I totally what can we say is I've let go of that, but I think to talk about it's still quite, I feel there's some still, and that's where a lot of my psychedelics is coming in as well, with a lot of that, those wounds, just not understanding why your mother don't love you. Do you know, like that was, and when I look at her past, and maybe we'll talk in the future, we just haven't had that conversation. We've had little moments, but not to where I am now, because I wasn't ready probably, and that's why the conversations haven't happened. And I mean,
but the psychedelics can also, what it does too is it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to have a relationship with those people who hurt us. But what I have found interesting, we have very similar situations with our moms, right? And so I relate a lot to that, to what you're talking about. But it allows us to come to terms with, you know, you said at the beginning, they were doing the best they can. That's so much wisdom in that. That's so much peace and acceptance and forgiveness that goes into realizing that and fully understanding it. And, you know, the forgiveness is for us. It's not necessarily because they deserve it. It's not because we have to be in this big relationship, but it's for us to accept and love ourselves, even though we didn't get the love that we needed from them. That's what I love about the psychedelics, is that it helps us to see ourselves in a whole new light, and not need that approval from them. So yeah, it's really beautiful. And maybe one day, maybe not, but the work happened inside. And so I could really see a lot of growth in you, where, the anger that we could have for a family member is really poison to our soul and poison to our progression. It's only hindering us from moving forward. So it's really important in one way or another, whether it's plant medicine or another way, to forgive. What you're saying is spot on. So important to forgive. And
I always have that saying. It is. And I have the saying, it's like you drinking rat poison expecting the rat to die. I always have that saying. I'm like, why am I hurting myself? Any form of like my anger, I allow it. What I've learned. So before, there's the toxic positivity in the world, isn't there? There's that, because I was very into law of attraction and very like, oh, don't think that you're going to attract, really rewire, really, focus on the good. And I always have like, affirmations all spread out, always catching myself. I used to have a wristband. I teach this as well at times, just to see how much negativity we speak more to ourselves. And then you realize also but we're like catching ourselves with a band. But what I've realized from that, having that awareness is good, how much we, what we're speaking, these words are spells, the magic which we do. I think it's good to have that awareness, but also to acknowledge that these feelings are normal as well. When the anger comes up, I'm like, it's okay. I do a lot of inner child work. I'm like, it's okay. It's fine to feel that way. Acknowledge it. Instead of using food, because I used to be like, I'll go and eat something, and then I'll use an affirmation. So I'll be numbing and then use an affirmation. And I'm like, okay, how can I get around letting it come up? Let it surface. We're so frightened to feel. Like with the psychedelics, you've got no choice. I did I think it was like a 7-hour journey with the mask and with the mushrooms. Oh my God, that pain came up. It was intense. And I was so ready for it. And I don't know, I think if I would have been a year ago, a year before I did it, this was it was last year when I did that experience. But I was like, wow, I don't think I would have been ready for this years ago. This is really, really intense. But you realize that these emotions are coming up, they have a purpose, and we can alchemize them, but let them come up, let them sit with them and be okay with it. Be okay with those feelings. I can be angry with my mother, but it's how long we keep it in the body. Let it come up. Most of the time they just naturally dissolve. Let it come up and acknowledge it and be thankful that it's come up, and they dissolve. And then sometimes we can use tools that can, without using food and drugs and alcohol. I'm glad I quit with my spiritual journey. I quit, I quit alcohol 12 years ago, 13 years ago. That was, the first thing I had to go for me, because that was it was on the weekends, but that I knew there was something not right when I'd get drunk. My anxiety would really, I always fearful. Like people feel, like I say, I've got a lot of confidence, but I've read books. I read so much, like Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers was a big life changer for me back when I was 19, when I read that, or maybe in my early 20s. And I learned that, okay, if I cut out alcohol, it's going to boost my confidence. And also my anxiety isn't going to be bad, because I noticed after I drink alcohol, the next day my mood would dip, I'd eat rubbish. 4 or 5 days, I was shaking. I was like, not feel like everything that I was going through would be heightened. And when I was drinking, I knew this was fake energy, fake confidence. So I wanted to go out there and build my confidence without the alcohol. So I'd be the first on the dance floor. And then I'd be like, no one can question me then. And then I'd actually work out, I'm not comfortable in those environments. Why am I going to these environments when they're not in alignment with who I am? And this is the path of unraveling. And everyone who's on this journey, who's going raw, listening to this today, is like, you are here for a reason, and you are here experiencing those as gifts, everything you're going through. And it's learning to let go and surrender. Let go of it, because you're already on this path. There's no going back now. There's no going back. And it's only going to get better, but it's also going to be, there is going to be challenges, but you're going to alchemize this pain and you're going to come out the other end. And it's so worth it. It's so worth it coming through the other side. And we're still digging deeper.
Queen Jenny says the rabbit hole. Yeah.
The rabbit hole, yeah.
Once you start, it's just like one thing after the next. But I feel like, God, the universe will only give us what we're ready to integrate at some point in our life, like we follow that cookie crumb trail.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pick up this and I'm gonna try that, and then that's gonna open a door. And then we go through that door, and then there's another door that opens. But I always say, like, my awakening, if just like you, like if everything was given to me all at once, I think I would have died of shock. Everything, like, it had to happen gradually. It had to happen over a period of time, like letting go. And but taking that first step is so important. And you're showing us how one individual, one woman can make such a big difference from following her heart. A lot of us are, we sometimes overcomplicate things, like, oh, I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how to do that, and I don't have a degree for this, and who am I to serve? Who am I to help? But you are showing us that one woman's dedication to, others, whether it be animals or other living, humans, can really make a difference. And if we can all be inspired by that, oh my goodness, if we all take some kind of action to doing something, we all have something in our hearts, this world would be such a better place, healing ourselves first, overcoming the addictions, overcoming the depression, the anxiety, because when we're caught up in those states of being, states of consciousness, we're in survival mode. It's very hard to think about anything else. It's really hard to think about somebody else if we ourselves are, suicidal, we want to die, we got hangover, we're shaking, like you were saying. Like, these are real physical symptoms that happen from the poisoning, from the alcohol, from the drugs. The most legal accepted drug on the planet is alcohol. We don't even talk about it like that. We have to explain ourselves when we stop drinking. People can actually be very mean to us or bully us or tell us we were more fun before. Like, there's a lot of pressures to continue drinking. So hats off to anybody who stops drinking. It's been a challenge for me. It's been definitely a journey as well. And it's so good to connect and to have these kinds of conversations and normalize sobriety, normalize not drinking, because drinking has been so normalized in our culture and our society, wherever we are in the world. So to break out of that is truly the work of a warrior, the work of a warrior. And then look at everything that can happen from not drinking. We are more clear-minded. Yes, there's a period perhaps of withdrawal, of, feeling like we're missing out. But on the other side of that is bright light shining and our purpose coming through. And I truly feel it's the work of the devil, like alcohol, drugs. This is Satan's world. It is meant to keep us oppressed, keep us under, in submission to the evil, dark forces, and disconnect us from ourselves, disconnect us from nature and from what we're truly meant to be doing. So, you truly are an example for us. I'm happy you talked about the alcohol, because, once we overcome that, we can literally do anything. We can literally do anything in this world. So I absolutely love that you're talking about plant medicine.
Well, you start
reconnecting to nature.
You start to realize why is that illegal? Why is that legal and not illegal? Yeah. And then you start looking at smoking, and then why psychedelics? So my psychedelic experience, I was like, why? Now you see through the veil. I mean, I knew that the industry with the veganism and the cruelty and how it can be so promoted as like the cows in the fields being milked, and it looks all like natural. It's so misleading. And I've seen firsthand at university how they manipulate studies as well. When people say about science or peer reviewed, I'm like, studies are manipulated. I've seen firsthand all the time. Even my dissertation was manipulated. I won't go great depths, but it was in favor of this big product. And he manipulated the results. I worked closely with someone on it. And I just was like, that was my first hand seeing studies are manipulated. So look at who's who's conducting these, who's funding these studies. So half the time, that's why now I was always very science minded. I studied sports science, animal science, and I really wanted that science book, but I knew from the heart, we can't even add, well, we can't, eating animals can't, karma, energy, we're all energetic beings, we can't be destroyed, we're souls that pass on. How would you want to eat something that was so, you know, suffered and consumed another living when it's not necessary? And then you look at the foods, the vibration of food. So I'm passionate about, I find the physiological side is really important, but the psychological side, what it does to us in the mental state, how these low vibrational alcohol, music, what we're watching, energies, you know, foods, low, heavy vibrational foods. This is all what's keeping us suppressed. If you just take those out, your vibration and your mental health, clarity, the nourishment is all that. And it gives me goosebumps, like just knowing this now, I'm like so thankful. And people take for granted what food really does, you know, it's the foundation. It's not the be all and end all, but it's the foundation. It's one of the pillars for mental wellness, for, you know, the physical. I mean, I do share a lot about weight loss and building people in for, you know, gaining the confidence in their bodies, but really we go deeper. We talk about what these foods can do for us and our mental. For me, it's the mental side, the binge eating, the addictions, like you, how we're just trying to escape. We're just trying to numb ourselves with these foods, and we're confused. We're not. I do know that this world is not set up. I like I say, toxic positivity. I was always saying this world, you know, always trying to rewire that the world's not cruel, but it really is not set up for us to flourish and thrive. But if we're aware of that, that gives us our power back. We don't need to be hopeless. You know, I did feel hopeless for a long time, especially with the animal cruelty. And then you're seeing others. You know, my drive is ultimately stop eating animals, but then have kinder, nicer people. It starts with us. Everything starts with us. And if we can be kind with to ourselves, with what we eat, we can be kind to others, animals, the environment, and everybody benefits then. And then we have a much more compassionate, loving home. It's our home, you know, we're living here together, and we, as a collective, it's whatever feeds. If we can keep feeding the good, you know, that the darkness will fade. And I'm seeing it already. I'm seeing a big shift. And just from meeting you and others in this group and seeing the connection. I mean, I've got a lot of projects going on, but this passion now of helping others thrive, it's really now I want to do more. I want to do so much more with it. And there's a big healing center. I never thought I'd be offline. I always wanted to be online for me. It was all about the freedom, the flexibility, but I want, like what you have, of creating in Belize, you retreat and getting community around you. You know, I think I felt like I wanted to be online because I wanted to travel and explore, because I was trying to find my tribe. Found my tribe now just come over, let's meet in person.
Exactly.
You know, come together, share the land, and share about our stories and our and you know, have a safe space for people to come and be themselves, open, but also how we can contribute. So that's why the animals, the dogs, they're my passions. That will always be part of what I'm about. You know, you come for nurturing others, and we can have both. You know, your number one priority. You know, they always say about the oxygen mask, and when there's an air, you know, when the air attendant, air hostess explains about, you know, in an emergency, always put your oxygen mask on first. You go through that process of healing, and then work through that, keep working, and then help others, and everyone benefits. Because when we're angry, like when I was being like I was very aware of not being a victim, so I took my power back, but it hurt, you know. It was like, and I was overcoming so many challenges from that, and then realized, okay, then I want to change how people are, you know, like let's be kinder, let's be nice. So I'm you know, sometimes I can be direct in the way I share my message, and I'm learning to articulate my voice and my mission. And I I feel now it's coming from more love and compassion, and rather than you shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that, but come on, let's, as a collective, let's come from the heart, let's work together, and let's change what we don't like about the world, and let's create this harmony, because we are, and it starts from within. And now I'm part of this thriving lifestyle. I'm seeing so much good in the world, and then more people are doing more good, and everything's just now coming together more effortless.
So beautiful. Love will heal the world. Love is everything, you know, love for all is the answer, you know, do no harm. And that includes to ourselves and to other living beings and to other people. You know, when we live with those principles, we truly see big transformations within ourselves and in the world around us. You know, you mentioned karma. Like, karma is a real thing. There's consequences to not obeying these laws of the universe, you know, these laws that apply to all of us. You know, we do not escape these laws. Do no harm is the only law that we should obey to, you know, that's God's law. So when we truly start to put in place those principles, very basic principles, oh my God, you know, the mind changes, like you said. Like, we're not taking in that energy, we're taking in a different kind of energy. We're taking in the energy of fruit and living foods. It changes us. It truly changes us. I really love that, you know, we could talk about this, because mental health is a thing, and so many people are caught up in the whole medical mafia or pharmaceuticals, and being lost, being hopeless, being desperate, and having given away their power to, you know, people in white coats who don't know truly how to heal themselves. So how are they going to help other people heal? You know, they've been taught a certain thing, they've been taught a certain program, and it's really up to us to take our power back. So these conversations are so important, because I've been on the psychotropic, you know, pharmaceuticals, antidepressants, and, you know, it is not a solution. It is not a sustainable long-term solution. You know, eating healthy, going back to plants, you know, exercising, getting sunlight, sweating every day, like, those things are the answer. And it takes some work, but there's so many good results that come from that, and so many beautiful blessings. Like, you know, we're talking about meeting our tribe. Like, we are miles and miles away, and we've met each other from being on this path, from being in these communities, from saying like, okay, you know, like, I've been feeling all alone, and okay, oh wow, sister, you're doing this too, and oh my gosh, you know, and we see each other and we see the courage. So for me, this online community has been a lifesaver for me. Like, you know, people around me aren't necessarily doing this. I've lost a lot of friends. I have found myself a lot alone as well, just like you. And now we're like, we're so happy to see each other. And I know we're going to meet, you know, live someday. You know, I want to come see you in Thailand, and you could come in Belize. And these networks are truly happening, like the mycelium of the mushroom. Like, we are this underground, this above ground, like this network of individuals that I believe have been placed very strategically throughout the world for us to bring the light, and for us to anchor in this like new grid reality, this like love frequency on the planet in various places. And it's just really amazing. And I do believe the future is vegan. I do believe we're all going to come to our senses at some point. And it's about inspiring and encouraging people to, you know, go on this path of love. And from there, you know, we truly do uncover who we really are. And it's like we, you know, you've given yourself permission to be who you authentically are. And I have a question about that, about facing your fears, because you said something about, you know, you still feel that vulnerability hangover when you do a video, for example, or when you step out of your comfort zone. And a lot of us stay kind of stuck in this, like, we know we want to do it, we know we can do it, but there's something stopping us. What helps you to overcome that, even though you feel very vulnerable each time? What makes you push through?
What a great question, because I think the tools that I'm using, that I use regularly, and I am quite strict, the non-negotiable rules that I live by, that I notice a big difference in my clients and myself. And I just want to add in there through these tools, I have learned that no matter what you do, right, I live my life, will I have regrets? If I die tomorrow, will I have regrets? I'm always thinking about, okay, these are potential, will I have regrets? We're living here to experience everything, every night, you know, all the heartache, you know. I'd rather love than not experience love. I would rather just, you know, mess up and be incredibly messy and even say the wrong things and maybe even hurt somebody, but not intentionally. I'd rather do that to learn as well, because all it is about that awareness. If you've got that awareness, and I tell you what, bullying, those that happened to me, I've been on and off bullied for our lives, little things, people, you know, when you're at school, there's all that, but this was really intense time that I experienced. First time I've really been challenging, but you know what? So much growth came from that, because now I'm in that place of, because I have a bit of fireness in me. I'm an Aries, I'm quite a fire sign. I'm like, you know what, do no harm but take no shit, you know. I'm like, you can do that, but now I have boundaries. I know my levels. I've learned, okay, you've pushed across that line, I'm not helping you anymore, I'm not doing this, and and it was hard, even with when it's involved with dogs as well. You're like, no, do you know what, you can do, I'm not getting, I've I can help. So you know what, you can, I did a post the other day about, you can be the sweetest, juiciest, kindest, beautiful, is it okay? Oh no.
Oh, it cut off a little bit.
I'm back. I thought it had, but did I get to the point where you can be the sweetest, juiciest?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, you can be the nicest, sweetest, tastiest fruit, watermelon, and there'll be someone that does not like watermelon. There always is. Yeah. And that's through, they just don't resonate, or they've got trauma. They have trauma, their own pains. You know, there's moments in the past I've been jealous of people. I caught myself yesterday times of my reaction to something. I was like, what? But it's in the awareness of like, okay, that was my old program, that was my default. So if you can master these three that I share, which is the mindset, the power of the mind, alongside the meditation. So I combine them two together with the meditation. You can really, I started off with 5 minutes a day meditation of literally just breathing and not overcomplicating it. I have a power hour every morning where I do 20 minutes of reading or meditation first, 20 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes of reading, 20 minutes of exercise. That's minimum. It's non-negotiable for me. It's if I master my bookends of the day, morning routine, evening routine. It's very similar to my evening is similar to my morning routine, but I reflect on my day, and I always talk about what went well in these tools practically use, and they've been life-changing. I've used them for 10 or so more years. Wow. And everything else in between, that's why I call them bookends of the day, seems to flow effortless. So the power hour in the morning is crucial for me, and I've seen great transformations with my clients because the meditation brings back that awareness, slows us down, slows that mind down. I recommend the morning time to meditate. If you're struggling to meditate, it's got to be the mornings, because it's when we're less susceptible to noise and the pollution of the outside world. So start it with the morning when we're more subliminally, auto-suggested. We're always being auto-suggested, so absorbing consistently is what you become. Like the food you eat, you are what you eat. Do that in the morning, absorb, read a powerful book that is going to change perspective. It's all about lenses. We've all got a different perspective on the world from what we've absorbed, experienced. So if you can master that power hour of 20 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes of 20 minutes of exercise, and exercise not only physically, blood moving, stimulates the cells, really does tap into that self-love of that you're doing it for you. And it can be any form of exercise, even yoga, just doing yoga or rebounding, something that gets you moving, walking outside in nature with the dogs. 20 minutes, 20 minutes of each. If you can't do an hour, you can't start with that hour. I'm like, well, you are turning around and saying you are not worth. If you stuck for time, do 10 minutes of each, do half an hour, start small, do 5 or 10 minutes of each. Would be the evening routine would be just reflect on the day, what went well. Don't focus on the see, okay, what could have been better, but what went well. Really end your day with what went well today. You know, I talk with my partner all about, you know, what was amazing today, what can you, it's pinpointing, putting the powerful creators, we're more powerful than you think. And if we focus on what we want and what we want to see in the world, this is what we're going to continue to bring about in our life. So ending that, and then I have my 3 MITs, 3 most important tasks that I have for the next day to do, because I'm a to-do girl, and I know most of women, especially, I know men do, but we want to do everything. I just do 3 most important tasks, and that's what I focus on, that one. And then there's raw foods. Raw foods make everything so much more easy. I've mastered the raw foods in the sense that I know the raw. There's times I'm not perfect. I have there's little bits of, I'm not too dogmatic. I know it's my ideal world. I would love to be fruitarian or at least, you know, mostly fruit. I would say I'm 80-90% fruit. But I do have gourmet foods, and I'm happy with that for now. It grounds me at this moment in time of still my consciousness awareness. So it's, and then intermittent fasting is I was always about constantly eating. My internet, is it still staying unstable? Are we okay? Yeah. Intermittent fasting alongside those two, not just the physical side of the letting the body allow to, you know, digest the food. I don't eat 4 hours before bed. I stop eating always. I generally stop eating between 4 or 6 p.m. But intermittent fasting really it brings me back to the moment, to the present. It makes my meditation easier. It makes eating raw easier. I mean, keeps my body lean all year round. It's the next level. You know, I don't get people to do all these 3 at once and master them. We're flexible. What do you want to start with? A lot of it's the mind, you know, working on the meditation, the mindset. Then we incorporate more raw foods, and then intermittent fasting. Sometimes I start with clients that are coming from a standard diet. I get them on intermittent fasting so that we can shorten the gap of eating those heavy, denser foods. Because the less we eat, I'm more now. I used to be always eat abundance, which my transition. I was consuming a lot of foods initially, and then raw foods journey. But now it's more, I want to condense that eating window for my spiritual growth. It's more to do with the spiritual side, to tap into that awareness. And they're the 3 I've mastered throughout this journey, and something that I don't get everyone to do instantly, but it's part of the process. And that's why I've created a membership group to teach these, because they're simple but not easy, because we've got to get out of our own way. And we've just got so much BS that we need to uncover, and through meditation allows the others to become more effortless. But I have like all these practical tips that I have with the power hour, the morning and evening routine. Master those, start with those. I think everything else falls into place much more effortless.
Wow. Thank you.
So back to that. So back to that, the hangover vulnerability is because I practice these. I'm like, I've got a mission, I've got a purpose, and I've no matter what I do, people are gonna criticize me. They will. We all have it's like bum hole. I call it like a bum holes. Everyone's got one. You know, opinions are bum holes. Everyone's got one. And you know what? We all react at different moments differently, depending on what's going on in our day, and definitely what we've eaten. So when someone reacts to me in a negative light, I'm kind of like, that's not you, right? It's not you, it's your pattern. It's what you've been triggered. It's not who you are. So I see people as they're hearts. They're all hearts and loving. Yeah. When they're stressed, some people react. I do, you know, I'm dealing with road rage at the moment. I just know that it's not who you are. So I know when people are reacting to me. I know when people back to the heart, they're loving. They're like, you know what? If she's got to do what she's got to share that, she's got to share that in because it's right for her right now. That's where she's at. And what she's sharing is what she's passionate about. So the hangover, when it goes up, and I'm quick at like switching to more love and compassion. It's really quick now. So I just do it. I just do it anyway. Sometimes there's more intention now when I do things, when I put myself out there a little bit more, whereas before it would just be like, and still at times I'm like, it feels right now, but sometimes just slowing down. I've got quite a fast, you've probably seen in my energy in the interview, but I've got fast-paced energy. So meditation allows me to become more conscious, more intentional, and more reflective. So if you are I'm a very go-getter, very out there, but I've learned to reflect and be more intentional in my ways. I know you said the same last time we had a chat, Eileen. He was like, you're like, oh. And then I think what you're experiencing, when we've got that fear, I think what it is, sometimes it's not fear, it's excitement, because you want to share so much, but you're kind of thinking, okay, how can I be more intentional when I do it? So it's not always about scared of putting yourself out there or doing something that you're frightened of. It's more, how can I be more intentional with it? And I think that having that reflection and slowing down before we react is going to serve us much more and have much more of an impact and a result than you would just guns blazing. So everything in due time, like you were saying, there's, even with me, there's so much we want to do, but everything in due time. Yeah, you know, it'll come in its own divine timing.
Oh my gosh, so much that you said was like blowing my mind. Yeah, and I think it's really interesting because I'm sure there's a lot of, you know, you might bring up certain emotions in people when you are in your life. We make people feel uncomfortable, you know, not because of us, it's like they're reflected something in them that they wish they had, or they don't know that they have yet. So sometimes, and it's really interesting because you mentioned, you know, jealousy and, you know, certain emotions that are so natural that we all have. Heck, I was jealous of you when I first met you. I was like, oh my God, this woman is perfect, you know? And I had you up on this pedestal and I thought, oh my gosh, she's, you know, her body is so perfect. She's so kind. She's so smart. Like, she's got it together. And there was part of me that was like, you know, that felt less than. And I'm not saying this for anything other than the reason, you know, I'm just being super honest that, you know, I had to work on myself and be like, okay, well, what is it about her that I wish I had? You know, no, I'm never going to look like Toni. I'm never going to talk like Toni, but there's certain aspects of you that, you know, I started shifting from being, you know, envious to like, okay, well, how can I develop that in myself? What I love about her, what I admire about her. And yeah, it really helped me, you know, to have this ideal that I aspire to, especially with your fitness. I'm nowhere near you, you know, your level of fitness, but it's something that I aspire to be. And the self-love, like, it's good to have these expanders in our life, you know, and let's use, you know, I don't want to say use each other, but yeah, let's use each other for our own growth, you know, instead of feeling down on ourselves when we look to somebody. And I know I, you know, might have this effect on other people. People have come to me and be like, oh, Eileen, like, you've done this long juice cleanse and I can never do that. And they feel beaten down by comparing themselves to my journey. And so I have done that in the past with other women, you know, and I've just come to a point where I'm learning to love myself and learning to have admiration and respect without necessarily wanting to be like that or wanting to, you know, feeling bad about myself for not being a certain way, but rather be inspired by, you know, individuals like yourself. And I have so many, you know, expanders in my life. So that has shifted over the last years from, you know, feeling less than to feeling empowered by, if you know what I mean. So I encourage
totally.
everybody,
Yeah.
like when we feel triggered by someone, it's a good thing, not triggered, but like, you know, activated or feeling, do you know what I mean? Like, because we all have it. It's natural to compare ourselves to others. But then also when we get to know somebody and then you get to know their story, you get to connect on a heart-to-heart level, you see that they got problems just like you. You see that they're not perfect. You see that they struggle too. And then that's when the humanity comes in. And that's when you see beyond the physical appearance or you know, what your idea is of that individual being so, you know, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good to have that awareness. Like I have to, yeah, it's a consistent checking in with myself and what to have that, to know that's the power, that's the real, that it's all awareness, isn't it? Aware of what's triggering you instead of reacting to, oh, you know, that and you build up stories, you know, like you know, you see others that you see something in them that you feel jealous, but actually, yeah, you're called to inspire when you get to know. And I think I want to be more open and how I can articulate. That's where our YouTube channel and doing these interviews and lives is where you can really share what someone is really about, because it's all, you know, you're only seeing so much of a lens when you first see someone, and you just see all the work, like you was saying, there's work behind all this, and we're forever working. Yeah, when people put me on this pedestal, and this is what happened in the past, there was putting on this pedestal of this being in the rescue, dog rescue, and same with this, even I get bullying, well, we all do resistance in this. So putting yourself out there, putting your body out there is creating, you know, I've had that, you're creating a wrong message when it's so much more, but it's all linked to loving the body. It's just a byproduct of loving my body. I'm not starving myself, I'm not restricting. What nature wanted us to eat, it is a byproduct, but yeah, it's so much more, you know. So and I feel even a shift in my own where, you know, put myself out there, but I just know I'm perceived differently to so many different people, you know, like for yourself, you see in that actually we're radiating, we want to share that, we can radiate, you know. My message is, I've been in a place of not caring for myself, I hate him, I want to come, and there was a resistance shifting from being in dog rescue to putting myself out there in this way. It was like, oh no, I was always what the people in the animal, and I did get a lot of hate for it, you know, a lot of like, oh, does she think she is? And my mother, my old friends long time ago, like, who does she think she is? I had a lot of that. Who does she think she is? Who should, to put herself out there? And I'm like, do you know what? Who are we not to be? Who are we not?
Yes, exactly.
This and the light of, yeah.
Yeah, and you doing it literally gives us permission to do it too, you know. It's like, it might take us a little bit of time to break out of that shell, but truly that is what it's all about. There's so many women and men dealing with body dysmorphia, body shame, feeling like, you know, they can't share themselves, or who am I to do this? But it's like you said, who am I not to be? So by you shining and being this brave individual, like, whoever's not comfortable with that, they're just gonna have to deal with their own shit, you know, that belongs to them. But imagine you had been, you know, you had stayed in that fear of playing small, you know, who would be missing out on your amazing coaching and your amazing support as well? Because a lot of us are ready to up level. A lot of us are ready to receive that message and make those changes, and, you know, have you as our mentor, as our guide. And we need that. We absolutely need that. My dad always says, surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, more efficient than you, and, you know, that can help you become better, you know, better tennis player, go play with a good soccer player. Like, don't stay small, like, go play with the people that you see, or
the Eagles. Yeah. But you know what, some people, so I always thought, as I didn't want to judge people, I didn't want to, because I know a lot of, when you're putting yourself out there, you're gonna get, it's a resistance, like you said, they're mirroring what they're feeling, whatever they're projecting is a mirror of them inside. You know, those that come from appreciation, they would see it as like, this girl is putting herself out there, this person, she's shining her and sharing her vision. And those that aren't, who are getting frustrated and angry, like jealousy or bitter, is because they're holding themselves back in some ways. Some people don't want that experience. They don't want, and that's fine, but they don't come from a negative place. They just go, yeah, she's doing her, I don't resonate what she's saying at this time, but you know what? I support her. I love her and good on for her. But you've got those that are really like, when they're speaking of words of hate and anger, it's a frustration with them. And you know, I realized that we can't, like I said, we can't please everyone. Not everyone's going to resonate because it's not your people yet. You know, some people say, like, say raw foods was, for me, was extreme 2.5 years ago. That world was, I never wanted to be raw. But as this journey's evolved, it's just a natural progression for me. And for me, it's more of the ascension side. For health, obviously, you can't argue. For me, you can't argue a raw foods diet because it's the most living, undenatured. It's like, it's not processed. It's what we are designed to eat. So yeah, I'm sometimes, still at times, I really don't want you to feel uncomfortable. I don't want that to happen. I want people to and empowered, not feeling small and belittled. But I know from their own, I can't control their reaction, and it changes. You 1 minute, I've got a client that used to hate. No, she's even said she hated me. She was like, really, who, you know, she was passionate, loved all that stuff, and loved the rescue. And she was vegan, but she was like, why are you now going like in bikinis? But this is my lifestyle. It's not like I'm just wearing bikinis for the sake of it. But she's like, body, you're stepping into sexual divine energy, which was, I had resistance from it before, and she's seen the growth of my journey, and now it's like, wow, that's emotion that I want to feel sexy. I want to feel. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with feeling good and having health at the same time, not at the cost of your health. It's the cost of feeling vibrant and radiating and oozing this positive energy, this love. And it's so great to see shifts. So you just realize, like,
people could change. Exactly, people could change their opinion.
Get clear on your tribe.
We got to just be true to ourselves, be so authentic to ourselves, and the real ones will come around and they will stick around. And like you said, you know, people could change their opinion. So if we're going to be changing for this one and that one, depending on everybody's mood, we're never going to be able to satisfy everybody. We just got to do our own thing.
Well, that's what happened to me. I was just going insane because I'm like, you don't want me to do that, but you want me to do this. You don't, and I'm like, you can't. You've got to really stand strong, get those firm, and you'll be inspired by others. So, like I said, these triggers are fantastic to see what you want to embody. Might be traits in some people that, no, that's not what I want to give off. But there'd be something else. So I look at everyone as like, wow, I'm inspired and they're powerful, but what do I really want? Like for you, Arlene, I'm like, you've got such a big drive. It's very, you know, on the social media, you are just so giving and loving, and always your time. There's maybe boundaries there. I can see you and me sometimes with like the boundaries and overgiving, but I'm like, wow, but that love you have for people and that like really sharing your whole, that's why you're so busy in helping so many people, because you're giving yourself, you're passionate, and you are a freaking warrior in this space. It's amazing. And I'm so honored to be on here and with you, with all you energetic souls. Who are just wanting, they just want, you know, your tribe, because they just want a better world. They want better connection. They just want deeper connections.
Thank you. I received that. Well, we're all, we're both doing some pretty amazing work and making a difference in our life and the life of so many people, and like you said, the living foods is the foundation, and everything comes from that, more confidence, more self-love, more joy. And from that joy is like, we can't hold it in no more. Like, we want to share, we want to overflow. So it's only natural that we continue in that progression and share from that place of joy and, bliss, because we really find, like you're finding your childlike bliss, your innate natural birthright, that is to feel happiness and joy. And do you not have down times? I'm sure you do, but you become more resilient to overcome the challenges that come your way. If I understand correctly, is that you're now more equipped with the meditation, with your power hour, which I'm definitely going to start doing. I definitely need to be more disciplined. I have been working on not going straight to my phone in the rising and taking some time to ground myself. But I think the discipline is really important. And a lot of people think, like, to have freedom, it just means doing whatever we want. But I really see the benefit in being disciplined for having more freedom overall, having more mental clarity, having more energy, more ease in like navigating life in difficult situations. So these are like non-negotiables, like you say, that we can all implement, out of an act of self-love. Why do you think we don't do it? Why do you think we sabotage sometimes? We'll go a little bit longer. We won't go too much longer, because I want to keep it to under an hour and a half about. But we'll go like another 10 minutes. But I'm curious to know, like, why do you think we do that?
There's a lot of, I've read the book Chimp Paradox, and he talks a lot about, we have, he talks about the monkey mind, which is the ego. So there's a lot in play, but I would be more like, we get a little confused. We like you said about the freedom, we want this freedom. So when we start putting in rules, we kind of rebel, especially as open-minded, especially when we've been in a world in this matrix of rules and regulations and the school system, these industries that we know suppress. So this, as part of us are rebelling against any rules, discipline enforced, and even when they're positive. And so we're back and forth with this monkey, as we call it, and our ego. The ego is there to serve a place. It's not always helpful, but it's about managing it. It'll always be there, but it's about managing these expectations, not be too hard on yourself. But there's also these times when you do need disciplines, like with the raw foods, with these practices, these tools that I use, the morning routine, the meditation, it's so easy not to do when we go to what's familiar. Whatever's familiar is what we keep going back to, and we keep on negotiating. And we've got to stop the negotiating, because that is when we know when something's so good, like freezing. I get freezing cold shower every morning as well. There's a lot of practices I do that I've really, and you're disciplined. Some people could look at me and say, wow, Toni, you're very, really rigid. But I'm like, and then I let go sometimes. And when I've let go, I'm like, then I don't have the freedom, because if I don't have my morning routine, I'm a bit lost in my day. I really am. Like, I'll have loads of things to do, and then I get so overwhelmed, and I'm like, I won't do anything. And there are days still like that. I do have off days, and I have moments of just not doing anything. And I think that's good as well. But in the majority, the bulk of my life, if I'm here part of a vision, if you've got a vision, I call it the why power. You've got a why behind this vision. You will set practices, tools, these I call them rituals, these rituals that will serve you and put you in the right direction. We do need discipline. It's a part of our power. And it's part of freedom. That is your freedom. Because then in between my day, I have more time to myself than I did ever before by having these rituals, because I'm sharper with those tools, those 3 foundations. You're going to be more productive, more time on your hands, so you get more freedom to fulfill. Because people say, how are you running? I have my membership group. I have a free ebook. I'm creating content all the time. I have a dog rescue. I'm in crypto as well. I'm learning, and I'm looking at teaching others, Thai, especially the Thai people on low incomes, just basic crypto. I have so many passions, and my fitness as well, and my own rituals that I have. I do it. I know you can do it all, but it's not without the disciplines that I have. Yeah. So we're not here, like you said, we're not here to play small. If I want to play small, there are times when I was experiencing all those the meanness, I call it, the negativity. I just want to live off grid, be quiet, live, and I still get moments of that where I just want to go away and just have nothing. And so if I have those moments, I allow myself now. I'm like, yeah, I want an off day today. There are times when that is. I know it's trying to distinguish between those times. If you're feeling overly stressed, overwhelmed, and you're having those thoughts regularly and getting back into that low mood, take some time off. Take it off. Take it where it's like you do literally nothing. But you know what I soon realized? I can't wait to get back into my routines. I can't wait to get back into, being out there and sharing what I'm really here for. We're not here to be closed off and not do nothing. We're all designed. I know we've all got a message to share, and that can be in any form. And when we do it with full intention and passion and present moment. So the downloads that I get when I'm feeling like that, I just take some time to meditate, and I can snap out of that very quickly through just meditation. Then I'm not using food, because when I'm eating food, it'll numb me out for the rest of the day. Cooked food. I've noticed. So at times I have cooked food and I'm like, I know it's because I want to take rest. I don't want to do anything. But I wouldn't say my morning routines, I would never say it's been very rare. I don't do that. It might just not be as long. It might just be 5 minutes, because I know how good I feel. It's like training exercise. When I go to the gym, I don't always want to go, but when I go, I feel so good afterwards. Yeah. It puts me in a really strong place and in alignment. It corrects me. It really does correct my path, and it makes everything much more clear. So have non-negotiables, and it doesn't have to be everything. Like I said, that power hour, to start off with the power hour, and you will, the rest of your day is going to be so strong and so focused. And even if you don't want to do anything, you don't have to. You've done the power hour, you know your direction, your vision. I sometimes, because I'm so fast paced, I'm like, I do need time off and downtime. Because I know this is a journey. I'm not there. I don't need to be there right now. I want to be here. I want to be enjoying my life, every moment. So if we can tap into the present regularly, then there's no end destination. It's just forever evolving and deepening our practices.
Oh, well, you've blessed us with so many valuable tips, tools that can literally change our life. When we implement these, to those who are listening, like, these are such beautiful gems that Queen Toni is sharing with us. Take them, and, I will certainly be implementing power hour every day. I would love to. Maybe we could even share a post in our group about that, because I think that would be super, super helpful for all of us. You also have a support community called Raw Living, and on Facebook. It's for those who would like to join.
It's Rawlicious now.
Oh, it's Rawlicious. You changed it. Oh, cool. All right. Sorry.
Sorry. Are you talking about the free group?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Sorry.
Oh, you have another group. Okay. Tell us a little bit about your offerings. I apologize.
No, I think I stepped in too soon there. It's because I do have a free, you are right. I have my free group of Raw Living, and then there's my Rawlicious membership group. So because they used to be called the same, but one was a membership, and then I changed to make it clear So you was right. I do apologize.
It's okay. It's okay. So then you have a membership group called Rawlicious, which comes with for your private clients. Is that what it is? People who work with you?
Yes. Or I have private clients that aren't in the membership. They just want one-on-one. They have a program. I do 30-day programs with them. But there's the membership for the lower ticket for those that don't want the coaching with me.
Perfect. And your website is rawliciousyu.com?
One-on-ones. Yes.
Sorry, it cut off for a second. Please say that again.
Yeah, so I don't have people come directly for one-on-ones. I'm just in the process of creating a new page of information for the one-on-one program.
Okay.
They've just come out of just through inquiries through messengers, but the membership's all on the website. My free ebook and the membership's on my website.
Excellent. Your free ebook that is so jam-packed with so much information. Please go see her website. I can't believe you're giving this out for free. I was like super impressed with it. It's a really great tool book, detox tips, exercise tips, really great ebook. Please go check it out on rawliciousyu.com. It's such a beautiful gift that you are offering us. Thank you so much for creating this and for putting yourself out there. I remember, a year and a half, 2 years ago, since we started journeying together, I saw the transformation in you. I saw your mission really get anchored in, and it's just been really wonderful to see you blooming and becoming more confident, becoming more of you and more connected to who you are and to everybody around you. It's such a beautiful thing, and you're so motivating, you're so inspiring. You have definitely helped me to up level and stay on the straight and narrow. Yeah, definitely.
Likewise, Eileen. It's great to be, like you say, surrounded with those that have got a mission. They're mission driven, and they've got so much love to give, and that's why we're attracting and being part of these amazing communities where it feels so good. It feels amazing to have so many like-minded souls around us that are rooting for us. That's what we want. We want more that rooting, that, you can do it. You can do it. We get scared. We, like I say, we're always in fear, but we do it anyway.
Yeah, no, it's so important to raise each other up, to lift each other up, to, there's so much like this mentality in a lot of places, like this crabs in a bucket mentality. You were talking about your family earlier, this like, no, don't do this and stay down here with us because we're miserable and we're not happy. And, and there's this like real pressure, and almost there's a guilt in a lot of us, this, I don't want to call it survivor's guilt or the success guilt that I certainly am facing a lot of feeling bad for being sexy, beautiful, smart, productive, like all these things that I'm realizing a lot of me playing small has been because I feel kind of, not worthy of raising myself up. But at some point we just got to be like, I just got to do it because that's my soul calling. This is what, God wants of me. It's not even, me driving it. So I hope that through my actions and through your actions, we're truly, glorifying something much bigger than us, this universal presence, this universal force that is guiding us, that is showing us to the way, and that we all have the capacity to get in alignment with that, with ourselves, with our higher selves. Maybe we don't believe in God, but there is definitely something bigger than us that's guiding all of us. And may we glorify that power and glorify the God within us too, because God is within us. It's not just this outside concept. Like, we are the living gods and goddesses, and we have a lot of power, and you are showing us that one woman can make a big impact.
Thank you.
Our world.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your courage, for your grace, for your authenticity, for doing plant medicine, for going to the raw food, for doing it all, cleansing, detoxing. This is a really, really powerful story that you're sharing with us, and your smile is genuine. And I'm sure, you know, in the past you have felt like you had to maybe put on this mask to make people feel like you're happy, but I feel this genuine joy coming from you, and it's truly beautiful to see that.
Thank you. Thank you
so
much.
To feel that and to feel supported by you as a sister, as a woman. I feel very safe with you, and you are so beautiful. And I know I'm going to keep expanding with you by my side. And I know I'm going to come and meet you one day very soon.
Definitely. Yeah. All of us coming together. We will. I feel it. I know it's happening. It's in the works, and it's going to be so freaking, incredible. Just all coming together with this energy, and you know, doing this together is community is so key for this journey. It really is. We're not isolated beings, you know, we're social creatures, and we want to feel loved and safe, you know, and having this safe container, what you've provided, Eileen, for us all is very unique and special. So I'm really, really grateful that you've created this and allowed me to come on and speak. And I love listening to all the stories. I want to be more involved and say this is the path of being with others, of transformation, of heartfelt transformation.
Definitely. Yes. So I invite everybody who is interested in learning more to check out Queen Toni's website, to reach out to her. She's also on Facebook, Toni Jessop, and check out her YouTube channel, Rawlicious You, and her Instagram as well, and her TikTok. She posts some really fun and playful videos. I just started. I'm not really on TikTok much, but I see them on your Instagram. You post some reels, and they're just so much fun, and you make life so fruity.
I'm trying to keep it more fun as well, because you know what, it is serious stuff what we're doing, and it's challenging, it's deep, but there's got to be some play, you know, loosen up and enjoy life as well, you know, let that inner child come out, nurture that. And that is being a really big thing for me this year. You know, I had a lot of resistance, but you know, now having fun, reaping the rewards of this high energy lifestyle, and the security and feeling safe, and whatever comes my way in a way that doesn't feel serving, I'm like, it's okay, because I'm doing my thing anyway. And I encourage that for everyone else. Just go out there and be you, you know, be this magnificent, beautiful, high energy soul, because that's who you are. You all deserve to have fun, to love deeply, to really feel all your emotions together. I wish that for everybody. I wish for everyone to thrive.
So beautiful. Thank you so much. I love this advice, and I am driving that home for myself tonight. I needed this as much as everybody who tuned in. Thank you to everybody who joined us tonight. It was such a great time, great interview, and I hope we could do this again very soon.
Certainly, I'd love to. Thank you. Wish you all the love, and let's chat soon.
Yes. Thank you so much. We will see you soon. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Love you. Bye.